So the question is, are the Browns a playoff team? Joel Bitonio was asked that question yesterday.
You know, I know we have the guys in this building to go out and win every game we play in. And if that's optimistic, then I'm optimistic. But I do know we have the guys and the coaches and the people to do it. We have to go out and do it. We haven't shown it this year consistently enough. So that's on us. But I do know we have the right guys in this building.
So, Cameron, what do you think? Are they a playoff team? They've been wildly inconsistent. They probably deserve to be 6-6 at this point.
Yeah, I think that obviously the math is there for them to still contend for that playoff run. The chances are low. Talent-wise, roster-wise, I think they should be a playoff team. I don't know that they are this year. It doesn't look promising for them this year based off of their record and what the schedule is to come. I mean, if they struggle this far in, 12 games in, and the next few games are not easy matchups, if there was a struggle before and you kind of had to squeak out a win against the Lions, you lost to the Steelers, who we've seen who they are this season, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get it together, not only in time for a couple of these games, that Ravens game coming up. Look, they were there. The defense stepped up, so they showed that they can play with the Ravens. I don't think it's that much of a stretch to say that they could beat them coming out of the bye, especially if you can get your offense firing in a way that they weren't at all, this past game. But if you can even manage to win that game, can you beat the Packers on Christmas at Lambeau Field? That's going to be tough. Cincinnati is playing lights out right now. Obviously, the Browns played them very well and won big against them, but will that look the same at the end of the season? Will they beat the Steelers, or is that a mental thing? These are questions that make it hard to say that this season is the year for them to make the playoffs. Now, they should be making the playoffs. They have the talent. They've addressed the issues that they needed to do. They haven't executed based off of the roster moves that they made on this offseason. They addressed the defense. They try to bolster it up. And, you went out and you got John Johnson, you got Anthony Walker, you've got Troy Hill there. You drafted Jeremiah owusu-koramoah. You have Jadeveon Clowney. You have Tack McKinley. You've got these pieces that should be exactly what you needed. And the offenses should be very similar to what it was last year. And while the defense has shown some improvements in some really big games, like on Sunday, it hasn't been what it was expected of them. And offensively, they've fallen apart really in really big moments. And so that they haven't had a game where the offense looks great and the defense looks great aside from that Bengals game. And that was their best game of the season, but they haven't been able to put it together consistently. Like you said, it's very inconsistent. So it's hard to think that one bye week can change all of that. Now, there will be a lot of processes that happen during this week and evaluations, and I don't think there's going to be a lot of changes. Kevin Stefanski said, he's not handing over play calling, which, again, I don't think that's the answer necessarily anyway, but that is one area that you could address, that they're not resting Baker. They're not going to bench Baker Mayfield and let him rest a little bit extra. They've already said they're not making quarterback changes. So we're going to see a lot of the same product after the bye. It's just getting on the same page and seeing if they can execute correctly. And I don't know that 1 week is enough to address all of the issues. So at this point, I would say they have the potential to be a playoff team, but with the limited amount of games left, the position that they're in now, and then the way that they have said that they were going to address things and still kind of finding themselves in the same rut, I just don't know that happens this year. And I think there's a lot to address moving forward next year and into next season to make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen again next year.